this computer. Okay. All right, so hopefully everyone can see this. All right, Dr. Patterson is going to start for us today.
Okay, can you put it in slideshow mode for me? There we go. Well, welcome again, everyone. It's great to see your faces. Can you hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. And I want you guys to get really comfortable. I mean, we consider ourselves family and you guys are joining our family. So I want you to get real comfortable. There's no question that's not worth asking. So please ask any questions that you have. If you don't want to interrupt, make sure you put those questions in the chat box because you're going to receive a lot of information tonight. Some of it will be pertinent right away and some of it won't be pertinent until later on and you're not going to remember it. So a couple of things, we are recording this. So you can always say, hey, can you send me that recording? I forgot about XYZ. But also you can contact any of us. But please, throughout the presentation, use your chat, ask us questions, and then at appropriate times, just chime in, unmute yourself and ask questions, okay? Because we want to hear what's on your mind. But welcome tonight to the Early Childhood Education Program orientation. And I'll probably talk off the cuff too, because there's just so many great and wonderful things happening in early childhood right now. So Dr. Hisrich already did our welcome. Just really quickly, I just want you guys to just say hi. I know we don't have a lot of time, we're on a time constraint, but really quickly, if you guys could just unmute yourself and introduce yourself. And let's see, I'll say your name and so we can go quickly. Williams.
Hi, my name is MV Williams, and I'm excited to be here.
Very good. Amy.
I'm Amy Gilliam, and I'm also really excited to be here and start a new chapter in my life.
Very good. Hi, Amy. Hey, Dana.
Hi, I'm Dana Wujek. It's nice to meet you all.
And Kenneth, it's always nice to see a guy in early childhood.
Oh, hi, Kenny. And it's awesome being here. I can't wait to get going on this. And
yeah, and I'm sure you hear that often, but we just love it. We love the diversity of this program. Dora.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dora Anaya, and I am very excited to work.
Very good.
Started. Thank you.
And Karen.
Hi, my name's Karen Urban, and I'm very excited too. I'm happy to be here and learn more about the program.
Very good. Shanavia, did I say that correct? Miss Doyle?
Yes. Hi, my name is Shanavia Doyle, and I'm excited to be here and learn something new about early childhood.
Very good. Sabrina?
Oh, hold on. Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Sabrina. Nice to meet everybody. I see my favorite professor, Ms. Peters.
And you're multitasking. We're glad that you're here with us. Did I forget anyone? Because the pictures are just, all my squares are moving all over the place. Well, thank you for showing your faces and introducing yourselves, and welcome to the GSU family. We're going to talk about the need for early childhood teachers, give you some basic information about Governor State University. I know that many of you may be in different stages of the application process. School starts in a few weeks, and some of you are fully accepted. Some of you are still in the process. So we're going to give you some additional information so you can button things up and be ready to go. Dr. Hisrich and Dr. Kelly are going to talk more about the program. And Andrea Del Polo is going to talk about your field experience and student teaching. I'll talk more about licensure. And then your advisor is here. So she's going to guide you not only through tonight, but she's going to guide you through the next 2 years of getting you through the program successfully. And like I said, make sure you just use the chat for a Q&A. And Katy and Amy, if you could just monitor the chat box and you can stop me whenever appropriate. So there's a huge need for early childhood teachers. And I'm going to kind of talk off the cuff for a moment because we know that there is a teacher shortage nationally. That is certainly the case in Illinois. And we've come to learn that that shortage is even more significant than in early childhood, more than we had anticipated, because we typically receive all of our data from ISB, Illinois State Board of Education, who you will be licensed through. But there's a whole early childhood incumbent workforce that works outside of P12. And when you look at early childhood from birth through grade 2, which is what you're going to be licensed in, there's a huge shortage, and not just a shortage of human resource, but of qualified human resource. So right now we're working on an initiative because there's 28,000 incumbent early childhood teachers that are in front of children without the qualifications to be in front of children. And if the teacher is not fully qualified, of course, that's going to impact the education of that child. And this is the foundation of their education. So it's super, super important that we prepare you to be your best so that those kiddos can be their best. So this need for early childhood is huge. The governor just invested $200 million in early childhood just last week. And so there's going to be funds at all different levels. So all of you have a degree, correct? You all have your bachelor's degree. And now you're in this initial licensure program to get your master's in early childhood. So typically you've always been told, you know, you got to pay, you got to get a loan, you got to pay out of pocket because you already have a degree. Just know that this money is funneling down and you will be able to access some of this money as incumbent workforce for any of you that are working with early childhood students now through scholarships, through resources, through childcare. So as we get information about scholarships available to you, we want you to take advantage of them. It's worth the work so that you do not have to pay these dollars later on. So $200 million invested in helping you become early childhood teachers. So I hope that many of you are already working in the early child care field. Okay, I didn't say anything on that slide, but let's keep going. So a little bit about Governor State University. How many of you, show of hands, are familiar with Governor State? Karen, how are you familiar with Governor State?
Sorry. I graduated from Governor State in 2002 with a bachelor's degree in elementary education.
Oh, okay. So you're adding on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Very good. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Dana, did you raise your hand? How do you know Governor State University?
Yes, my dad got his master's from Governor State University.
Okay. And we used to call it this hidden gem, but now we've come to know it as the jewel of the South. Governor State is doing really, really big things. So you know that now we accept freshmen and sophomores. We hadn't done that in the past. And so that's really extended our degree offerings. We're divided into 4 separate colleges: the College of Arts and Science, Business, Health and Human Services, and then our college, which is the College of Education, where we house not only all the education and administration, but also counseling and psychology. We have 64 degrees, 35 of which are graduate degrees, 26 undergraduate degrees, 24 certificates, and now we have 4 doctorate degrees. And US News and World Report vote us in the top 10 of most diverse schools. So we're very diverse when you consider gender and ethnicity and socioeconomic level. Governor State University is very diverse. And then we have 30 sculptures. So how many of you have been on campus or driven by the campus and seen at least one of the sculptures? Karen, did you know we had 30? So it actually has a name. It's Nathan Manilow Park. And So you can actually take a tour, and I've taken that tour on a golf cart. But you can walk that tour or take it on a golf cart. Many schools come to our campus to visit, and they have tours. So there's information about each sculpture. So we have 30 sculptures on campus. So it's a beautiful campus. Let's keep going. So I'll give you some, Carla, do you want to go over financial aid quickly? Carla, you muted yourself.
I'm kind of caught off guard by this, but okay.
If you guys get it wrong, blame Carla.
I do not work for the financial aid office, so let me start out by saying that. Most of you who are already admitted into the program and are using financial aid has probably already had it set up. Anyone who may be here who has not been admitted yet, you want to make sure that you complete your financial aid application in advance. Anytime that you know what school you're going to be attending, you would go onto the FAFSA website, which is www.fafsa.ed.gov, to submit your financial aid application and indicate the school that you're going to be attending. GSU, when you know what school you're going to attend, you look for it. There's usually a code that you put into the system so that it connects your financial aid application to the school that you're attending. I believe GSU's code is 009145. But it's important to have your financial aid application in, because once you complete it, once you finalize your application, I think it takes about 3 days for GSU, 3 to 5 days for GSU to receive your financial aid application. But just keep in mind that packaging for financial aid does not occur until you are admitted into a program and you've registered for your first 2 classes. As a graduate level student, you need to be registered for at least 6 credit hours of coursework, which is considered half-time in order to qualify for financial aid. So once they have your application, once you're admitted into a program and you're registered for 6 credit hours, they will package you, which means they will let you know how much financial aid that you qualify for. And then from that, you will determine how much of the loan that you will, take out. There are also grants and scholarships that are available as well. And there's a website there. There is a financial aid scholarship. There's a website that you could go to on financial aid that will show you all of the scholarships that are available. I believe there are some grants that may be available based on certain criteria. Scholarship Universe is the name of the website that I was trying to think of, but scholarships and some specific grants are based on specific criteria, like, there may be a scholarship for someone who is an African American who teaches in special education, or there are some scholarships that it's specific criteria that you have to meet. And so you go through, you look at it and see if there's anything that you qualify for, but you have to have a financial aid application in order to even take advantage of scholarships that are available. There's also a TEACH grant that you can apply for depending on your situation as well. The tuition For undergraduate students, it's $313 per credit hour plus fees. Graduates, students, their tuition is $353 per credit hour plus fees. There is a tuition calculator estimator that is on the website that you can, and you should be able to click on that link. It will take you to the calculator. You can estimate about how much you would be paying each semester by using that calculator. And of course, if you need to contact the financial aid office, there you can see their email address right here on the PowerPoint. It is faid@govst.edu, or you can call the number 708-534-4480. You can contact Matthew Zaris directly. He is one of the associate directors in the financial aid office. And if you still have issues with that, send me an email and I will connect you directly with someone I know in financial aid who will get you the answer you need.
Very good, Carla. You did an excellent job. Thank you very much. Just for clarification, make sure, and many of you have done this already, to fill out the FAFSA for the correct year. And again, please look at that financial aid page on our website. You will find, again, what Ms. Johnson talked about, Scholarship Universe, but we also added another button for education scholarships. And there you will find 27 pages that I uploaded to that site. You want to look for things like Gateway scholarships. You want to go to the INCRA website and look for scholarships. There's even money to support living for early childhood teachers. So there's additional funds available to you. And for those of you that may choose to work at a Title I school when you're finished, after 5 years, you can also qualify for loan forgiveness. So make sure you take advantage of all of these resources.
And one last thing I wanted to add. When you are completing your financial aid application, let's say you decide you want to start a program in the summer semester. The way the financial aid applications work is that when you see like 2021 to 2022, they are referring to the fall semester of 2021, which goes fall 2021, spring 22, summer 22. So let's say you started, let's say you're going to start a program next summer. You would fill out the 2021 to 2022 FAFSA. And so if you're starting next fall, you would, of course, fill out the 2022 FAFSA application, 2022 to 2023. So it always starts in the fall semester.
So not much to say on the admission side, because you're here because you've already applied. And again, we realize that many of you are in different stages of getting officially accepted into the program, because there's an admission to GSU, but then you have to get through the program. So you will be working directly with Ms. Johnson on getting through the program. So please communicate often, communicate a lot. If you are not fully accepted yet, continue to work with Mrs. Johnson to get accepted.
And I would say make sure that all your materials are in. There's several applicants that we've seen that don't have all the materials in. And so just make sure you have all your materials in, your application, official transcripts, resume, cover letter. And if you are just getting your post-bac certificate because you already have an initial license, then a copy of your professional educator license. So just double check that you have all those items. So
this is a cohort, yeah, it is a cohort-based program. So you want to make sure you're starting with the cohort.
And I'm going to interrupt real quick. Could you make sure that none of you take photographs of any of your documents to send those in? They should all be either Word documents or PDFs. So photographs of any of your documents really is A, not professional, and B, just kind of doesn't work very well. So please make sure that they're either Word documents or PDFs of everything that you send in.
Carla, I think this is your.
We're back to me again. So I am your the academic advisor for the master's degree in early childhood education, as well as their certificate programs for the early childhood program. So I am the person who will review your application when you submit it. I go into our system. I review your transcripts to see if you had the prerequisite courses needed. If you do not, then of course I let you know what prerequisites we accept and what you would need to take for the program. I would also create a study plan for you for the entirety of your program so that you know what classes you're going to be taking each semester and so forth. I usually will provide you with a document that will help you through the registration process if you're unfamiliar with registering for classes. And you know, I'm pretty much here for you from the beginning of the program until the end of your program, and am the liaison between you and the faculty, the program coordinators, any other support offices that are on campus, like admissions, financial aid, student academic resource center, any of the other offices on campus that you feel you have an issue with, that you need to maybe reach out to someone, I can certainly connect you to those offices as well. If you have issues with, you know, any of your classes, I can also connect you with a person that you may need to speak with. You know, like if you find that you need to stop out, you know, then I can walk you through that process. You know, sometimes life happens, you know, and people have to stop out every once in a while, a semester or two, and, you know, come back. I would be the person that you would contact just to get you through all of that. Does anyone have any questions? I could only see 4 people at a time. So I see one person saying no, that's Amy. Amy Gilliam. Wait, did I pronounce your name correctly?
It's
Amy
Gilliam, just
Gilliam.
as if you were to say William, but with a G.
Okay, Gilliam.
Mhm.
Correct? All right.
Yep, you got it.
I always
Thanks.
like to pronounce names correctly because I know, you know, we have a tendency to mess up people's names. So
I appreciate it.
no problem.
Okay, thank you, Carla. So we have our study plan here that you, and we'll sit down and talk with Carla about to plan out, you know, your courses and everything like that. So you keep track of it, and she keeps track of it. So it's kind of like your guide as you go through the program. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the early childhood education program in general. We have our program has grown a lot. It's very exciting. We have new faculty who are wonderful, and we have new pathways for various groups of people. We have bachelor's degrees, the master's degree that we're talking about here with initial licensure, and then we have the post-bac certificates for people who already have a professional educator license, so they can get just an EC endorsement on their professional educator license, so they can teach birth through 2nd grade, and the EC SPED approval that you can also get. So these are just the certificates. And we are actually ranked by University HQ as one of the best, most affordable early childhood education programs. So we're very proud of that. And as you can see, there's lots of, these are actually photos of that I took in some of my former classes. So these are actually students that have graduated from the program in the last couple of years.
So they're also the most active program in the entire university.
That's true. We're very active, we're very involved. As you can see, you'll see actually at the end of the slideshow about several ways we get involved. So the faculty are all involved. The candidates are all involved. So it's a very, we're very close program. All of our faculty know our students very well. And we like that. So I find it very beneficial for both sides. Just a brief thing about our program. If you look at the ISB site, this is kind of just some points about our program and why it's really good. So we really have, we have coursework and field experiences that, you know, where students can actually apply their knowledge and connect theory to practice. We focus on culturally responsive classrooms and teaching practices, differentiated instruction, and educating the whole child. Our program is all about reflection and reflective practices. You know, basically improving and progressing so that you can be a professional educator. Our coursework promotes deep reflection. Basically, it integrates, you know, classic and current educational theory and research. We relate it to, you know, teaching practices. And we are big on putting theory into practice. We try to have something to provide you with a solid foundation of knowledge, and then of course having field experiences to be able to apply this knowledge. We also implement a lot of 21st century skills in terms of like technology. So we do a lot of things with like Flipgrid in the classroom or Zoom, obviously with the remote learning context that we've had recently, Google Classroom, Smartboard. So that way when you know, are in the field or get a job, you should have actually more skills than the people around you because you have these experiences with these technology devices and programs. And, you know, that's what we want you to do. We want you to leave here being successful, no matter what state you choose to work in or what district or anything, so that you're ready for wherever you decide to go. So these are some of the basic pathways. The ones that we're focused on here for you right now for the master's degree are most of you are here for the master's initial licensure. You already have a bachelor's degree. You get these endorsements, your PAL, your professional educator license with birth to a second grade endorsement. The SPED approval you also earn, and you also get Illinois Gateway's credentials. And if you're in the post-bac certificate program, you can choose to get, because it's the 18 to 19 credit hours for the certificate, because you already have a PAL, but you can choose to get either the early childhood endorsement, the early childhood SPED approval, or you can also get an ESL endorsement, which is not part of our program, but we do offer it, an ESL endorsement program, which is 18 credit hours. The master's program courses, all these courses are hybrid, which means they are 50% in person and 50% online. So half the time we meet on campus and half the time it's online coursework, like you were taking a regular online course and you have activities or lectures or whatever during those weeks. So they're hybrid. The courses are all offered in the evenings or on the weekend. So usually we tried to make it consistent. So it's usually Tuesday evenings and Saturday morning. There are opportunities for job embedded field experiences. And then obviously you do have to take the content test if you're going to get a PAL or an early childhood endorsement. And also take student teaching if you are getting your initial licensure, and either do the TBA or CPAS, depending on what we're doing. This basically just goes over the student progress in our program. Basically that you do have to have a B or better in all coursework to continue in the program. So this is for the degree requirements for the completing the early childhood master's program. And so you do walk away with these certificates, these certificates right here. Just like I said earlier, you have a master's degree, a Master of Arts in Early Childhood. You get your initial licensure, the Pell from birth to second grade endorsement. You have the special education approval in early childhood, and you'll apply for the Illinois Gateways credentials, early childhood, and I believe infant toddler. I think there's one more course you can take extra if you want to get the director's credential. It's a 3-credit-hour course. And you can get a director's credential from Illinois Gateways. So basically, in order to get the degree, you must meet all university requirements for a master's degree, maintain a GPA of 3.0 or higher with basically a grade of B or better. Be in good standing, complete all the coursework, obviously complete all the field experiences and student teaching, pass the Illinois content area exam for early childhood. And for the master's program, not the certificates for the master's, we do have like kind of a culminating research project that's kind of done and started during coursework. So the program itself basically is about 20 to 24 months. It's usually about 5 semesters. That's if you follow it, the schedule. Obviously, you can take courses, one at a time if you want. It will take you obviously longer because of when they're offered. But if you take, the 2 to 3 courses per semester, you'll finish in. If you start in the fall, you'll finish in 20 months. The fall in less than 2 years. It's 40 credit hours. And usually take about 8 to 10 credits per semester, depending. Summertime is 6. And like we talked about, it is hybrid. It's usually, you meet, half the time during a full 15-week semester. When it's a 6-week semester in the summer, you do meet every week because it's a condensed course. It is offered on evenings and weekends. Tuesday evenings, it's usually 5 to 8 p.m. And Saturdays, it's 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. So those are so when you take the 2 courses each semester, that's when they are. And then usually you have at least one field experience. Field experiences are usually 1 morning a week from like 8:30 to 11:30. It's a couple hours. And like we said, there are opportunities for job embedded field experiences, depending like on the grade level and everything. So these are the courses that you take. Um, 40 hours. And then there are 5 prerequisite courses. And that's what Carla does. And, I help her as needed to see if, you need to, if any of your previous coursework actually meets the criteria for any of these courses so that you don't have to take them again. So we do look at your transcripts for that. So that's why it's important to get those transcripts in early. Some people do take a prerequisite course. If they start, like, if you really want to start fall, then, sometimes we can make an exception to this and you could start the program and just take one of those prereqs along with the other coursework. So it really depends on how many prereqs you need. Other people might need like 4 prereqs. So they start their prereqs, finish their prereqs, and then start the following fall in the program. So it kind of depends on how many you need, and what previous coursework is transferred over. And there is, I believe Carla, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have to have, I believe, a B in the coursework for it to transfer over. But we do accept courses from 10 plus years ago. So this is basically the schedule if you were to follow it. So you take these courses in the fall, the first fall. And like I said, if you need to take one prereq, you could take it here, or you could take it, here. We can kind of work with you with that, depending on how many prerequisite courses you might need. So you have for the first semester, you do have one field experience, and then the second semester, you do have one field experience. In the summer, you have two courses that are offered at different times. First 6 weeks of the summer, and then the next course is at the second 6 weeks of the summer. The fourth semester is increasing because you have to, you take two methods courses and take two field experiences, because this is actually a full day in primary grades. That way you don't have to have two separate mornings. It's a full day for these two field experiences. And then you're finishing up. Most of your research project is done during this time in the spring semester with Dr. Amy Kelly with this course. And then you're gonna finish writing it. My apologies. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. And then you finish it up in the fall, right here. Sorry, my dog's trying to say hi. You finish it up in the fall, basically finishing up and finalizing your research project. And then the spring, you take student teaching, and then you are finished. And student teaching is 5 days a week for the full 15 weeks. And then there are seminars that you do attend. I think it's like once a month on Fridays. Any questions about the schedule?
Dr. Hisrich,
Yep.
for the student teaching for that final semester, if you already work in a childcare center, and I do understand that there's going to be times we're going to have to get exposure to primary grades. Is this going to be primarily primary grades Monday through Friday for that last semester?
The last semester, if you work in a childcare center, you can be job embedded actually. It just has to be, if it's in infant toddler, you can't do infant toddler because of the way student teaching is. You have to do at least 4 years or more. So if you were in a preschool classroom that was, top 4 to 5 year olds, absolutely, you could actually do your student teaching there.
Okay.
And there's we have a list. Andrea Del Palo does a great job. She has a list of, of schools too and things, because we have to get an MOU with the school and, make sure, it's, so we work with that. We just, that's why actually Andrea sends out information a year in advance for you to apply to student teaching and, put information down about your schools to make sure that, we can get everything situated. That's very well put, by the way. Very well said. Any other questions about the schedule or days or field experiences or? Anyone? No chats, no questions? Okay. These are just some of the expectations we have about graduate skills. A lot of students, especially if you haven't come back to school for a while, it is difficult, especially with technology, if you're not used to it, or research or writing. There's a lot of university resources, which I'll show you at the end. And even Carla can put you in touch with some of them. But, it can be difficult and challenging, especially getting organized and all of that. I think it's important to take that initiative even beforehand to see okay, these are my resources. I have trouble with technology, or I have trouble writing. Let me go see the writing center. And GSU has they're really helpful. All the support services, there's so many things out there, and programs and workshops that basically you're paying for with your tuition that you can take advantage of so that you are successful in class. And and everyone has things that they need to work on. You just might need to take a little extra time just to get into it a little bit more. So at the beginning, it can be hard to come back to school, but, and it can be overwhelming, but we don't want you to get, too overwhelmed where, you're feeling unsuccessful. So definitely if that starts to happen, talk to Carla, talk to myself, and I can point you to tons of different resources, that can help you. Because we do want you to, you know, be successful and graduate from the program, get your license, so you can be an effective teacher. But we do use Blackboard, and we have like VIA, and we have other things. You know, just keeping track of assignments and completing them on time and following, you know, guidelines. Basically, you know, and setting aside the time to do that and doing the readings. I think that's really important, especially when you have hybrid classes. So you think, oh, this is an online week. I can work on my assignments, but it's actually a class time. So I actually suggested to my students, and I'm guessing if I'm looking at Dana right now, she's hopefully smiling or laughing at me right now. But I suggested, hey, keep that time for yourself, right? Because that's, even though we're not in class and meeting, that I even tell like my friends, no, I'm still in class, even though I might not have class that week, right? Because that's my time where I should be working or grading or doing something, right? So I always keep that same time no matter what. So that's my time to like, that I should be reading and doing those like, you know, asynchronous work and activities, and, you know, looking at the lectures and things that are posted. So. And I do have a, actually, we'll talk about resources in a second. So there is one thing for those of you who are starting, whenever you start. So those of you starting in the fall, you will be contacted by the testing center. There is a writing task that you will do. It's just part of, basically it's to make sure that you know, you have actually the tools you need to be successful writing, because it's a master's degree. And so a lot of writing and research is involved. And so, you know, we want to make sure we set you up with the support you need first. So we're basically kind of doing an assessment of your writing at the beginning. And so you can either do it at the testing center on campus or in person, it says right here, or you can do it online and they can proctor you online. If your computer or you're not tech savvy, or you might have internet connection issues, I would do it in person. That happened several times to some people who weren't used to technology last year. So just keep that in mind, but you will be contacted in the next, probably by end of next week, to set something up before the first week of, by the middle of the first week of the semester. And you'll be given a prompt by the testing center, and basically it's a 90-minute task, and you do have to find some research for it and write. And so we're just basically assessing your writing. So, you know, you can't use like the review functions in Word. You're just basically writing to the prompt, and then you submit it. You do have to have access to VIA. So if you don't have access to VIA at this point, then I'll also be sending you directions for this as well, and how to access VIA. But VIA is something that we use to submit certain documentation and collect data for our division in college. So, and if you have, if there's like, your sample is rated and reviewed by 2 faculty members at least. And if there seems to be some, if it's unsatisfactory, then there's a 1-credit independent tutorial course that candidates take. And that's just what several programs in the Division of Education do to help with writing. So like I said, I will be sending you some documents. So please make sure you look through the documents that I send. I'll also send this PowerPoint, and I'll send the schedule, and I'll send this writing task information. So you'll have all of that. Just make sure you look for your email. So we talked a little bit already about field experiences. This basically just talks a little bit more about that. You know, we try to have you engage with children and families in a variety of settings. Obviously, you have to have a variety of age groups, experience with age groups, because you're getting a license, you know, 0 to 2nd grade. But we try to also do it in a variety of settings. So you have different, you know, different experiences with different cultures, and because, you know, we kind of pride ourselves on just having those experiences with diversity. And, you know, we try to also, you know, so you have experiences also with like exceptional learners. And then we provide you with support and scaffold you as you go through the program. So field experience is actually as when you start out with like infant toddler, and then you go to like preschool and kindergarten for the next one. It increases in difficulty. And then when you get into field experiences 3 and 4, you know, it increases more difficulty, and then that prepares you so then you're ready for student teaching. So it kind of builds on each other. And all of the faculty are very well versed in, you know, all of our lesson plans, formats, and our evaluations and field experiences in general. And You know, we work with great schools. So it's very well organized. So I even have the professor that is doing field experience 1 this semester. She already wants to contact you, some of you who are in her class this fall to make sure you guys are all organized and prepared before the semester begins. So our faculty are really on top of it and well prepared. I kind of already went over that. This one. So these are the field experiences, as you saw on the schedule, which just kind of outlines them a little bit more clearly. Like I said, there's field experience for the clinicals. You have field experience 1 with infant toddlers. Then you have field experience 2. You have to have weeks with preschool and kindergarten. And Professor Peters Dent does that one. Hi, Professor Peters. She does a great job with that one. And then you have field experience 3, 4, which is on the same day from 8 to 4. Those 2 are combined in a 1st or 2nd grade classroom. Our candidates this semester, actually, we have set up at Crete Moni, which is right by GSU. It's a great school district. They know us very well. All the CTs there know us well, so it's great. And you really actually in that field experience, because it's full day, you really get to know the kids and the MT, and you form a really good relationship. So it's a really good segue into student teaching. And before that, during 2 of the courses, the Ed Psych course, you have to do 15 hours of observation in the classroom that pertains to an assignment. And then in this course, you have a service learning project that you have to do, which is 2 hours at a site that is in a school. It basically looks at like various jobs or careers and in early childhood that you could do besides being a teacher. You know, some people actually go and help out the park district or the library programs, or one person actually, one of my students like a couple of years ago worked at some facility that had worked with autistic children and horses. It was really cool. So it's just to expose you to different things and also give back to the field. And then of course you have student teaching at the very end. And that's actually Ms. Del Paulo works with you in the school that you select and the grade level you select with this. Okay. Any questions on the field experience? No. Okay. There's no reason to go. We'll go to this one. Student teaching and licensure. Either Dr. Patterson or Ms. Del Paulo.
Guess I should take myself off of mute. Andrea, you want to talk about student teaching first, and I'll finish up with licensure?
Sure. I mean, the student teaching part, and I don't, because I know this program's a little new, so I'm not sure when your applications are due, but you do have to send in application, which basically is where you want a student teach. So you'll pick out 3 different school districts.
They're going to select one.
They're going to select one region.
They're selecting, so many of them are working, correct? Many of you are already paired with an early childhood center, correct? You're either working or you've created a relationship. So in your case, unlike regular student teachers, you should only have one place that's going to be your student teaching placement. Because again, you will be doing a job embedded student teaching. Many of you will be doing a job embedded student teaching. So the school that you live will be your specific job. If you're not working at an early child care center, by the time you complete the application, number one, I imagine that you have developed a relationship already of where you want to do that student teaching. Prior to doing this, Mrs. Del Paulo is going to send you a list of partners that we already have. Those not on the list, like your employer, we will get to know your employer and we'll develop an MOU with your employer so that they understand the job embedded field experiences and student teaching.
So basically, it makes my job a whole lot easier not to have to look for a placement because you guys should already be placed where you're working. So that makes it easy. I would imagine they would, each candidate would still have to submit like a regular candidate would, your cover letter, your resume, and then eventually, even if, again, if at your facility that you're working at, you're still assigned to a mentor teacher. So we need to know who that mentor teacher is. They will look over your student teaching for a matter of 15 weeks. So during that 15 weeks, you're assigned to a supervisor at GSU. That supervisor will come monitor what you're doing. And there's quite a few times where they'll come in and they'll evaluate you and things like that. And then that mentor teacher also will be evaluating you. So I think with you guys, my job's a little easier as far as not finding the placement, because usually what I do is you pick 3 different districts, and I'm asking the districts if they'll place, if they need a student teacher, and I'm trying to find a placement. So it's kind of the easier part with you guys student teaching with where you're working at. So, we do have a deadline date of when you submit your things. Again, they all have to be in PDF or Word documents, no pictures, because we do send those to the districts or wherever you're working, and we're asking, for professional student teaching placement. So they have to be in professional looking status, I suppose. Everyone has to make sure that your background checks are updated, whether it's through where you're working or GSU provides Castle Branch background check. It's $44 to us. Again, you guys might be unique because you might already have it from where you're working at, but that is a requirement that it has to be an updated background check. If your facility that you're working at doesn't require that, then we do. So you'll have to update that.
And you should know that we cannot share background checks. We understand that there is an expense to getting a background check. In some districts, on top of our background check, requires another background check, and candidates are sometimes out of $100 getting background checks, which is unfortunate, but the law precludes us from sharing background checks.
However, I could give yours if you take one to our Castle Branch company. There's a PDF that comes through with your background check. I could send that to you, and then you could forward that to whoever, but I cannot forward it to any other school or anybody else. So it has to come from the student, but I could forward you that information if you need it.
And everyone actually goes through the background check and does all the trainings anyway in the first course in the program in $16.99. So they do all that. So you guys will all have that done in the first course because you have to do that for the field experiences. So,
and with that, it's an extra little perk. I'm not really even sure what it exactly means, but you'll get a little blue card that comes with your background check, and that will come to my office. Usually when I'm on it, I'll email you saying your background check card has come in, please come pick it up. And my office is in the G building. It's 222. And sometimes Dr. Hisrich or somebody else will ask you to provide your blue card to prove that you've gotten that done. So again, usually a couple of weeks after you've done that, it will come to my office, and then I'll email everybody saying that your blue card's in, come get it. So again, it's like, it almost looks like a license, it's that big and blue, and it just proves that you've gotten the background check. That's kind of it, I think.
All right. So when you look at the student teaching application that's linked there, everything that Mrs. Del Polo said is within that application. So it's not something that you have to remember. Every term she will send out student teaching important dates. You will look to the semester in which you want to student teach, and you will follow all of those dates to submit your application. A late application means you're applying for the next semester and not the semester that you want. So please do not submit your applications late once you know what those dates are. And
if you are active students, you all should have received an email today that has the schedule on there. And I put actually 20, 21, 22, which would include fall 22. And then I did 22, 23, which would include all of next year, of when you could apply and things like that. So you look for an email from me today. If you are active GSU students, it would have come to you today, and it will have all of those dates of when things are.
So it covers fall 2023, which I imagine is when you would be student teaching. So look for those important dates. I do want you to be mindful of something. If you hear it from other candidates, we are still in a public health emergency for COVID. And so we're still acting under that. And because of that, candidates are able to do student teaching without passing the content test. For your group, that will not be the case. They're also able to get licensed without passing the EdTPA portfolio, performance portfolio. That will hopefully not be the case when you graduate. I hope that we are not under a public health emergency at that time, but we will keep you up to date if that public health emergency is extended. So Andrew, you have more before I talk about licensure? But you can always contact Mrs. Del Polo about student teaching. I don't know if she mentioned the 100 hours plus that you must submit. Also, as part of the process, it is a graduation requirement for you to keep track of all of your field experiences. When you are doing a field experience, there's someone at that institution or your job that's signing off that you were there to complete that experience. It is your responsibility to keep up with that tracking form and those signatures. Once you get familiar with VIA, the portal that we use as a repository for many of your documents, you can place those things in VIA so that you can go get them later. Just in case things happen, things get lost, your computer crash, all those things happen, and you say, I don't have all of this information for that semester. That was 2 semesters ago. It's part of your graduation requirements. So save it, back it up, save it into VIA.
And you guys, at the end of every field experience though, and which you'll see, we're all very familiar as faculty, you'll have a form that you'll sign, your CT will sign, and then you'll send it to us and the professor will also sign it. And so that's the form that she's talking about that you do need to submit. And then we also have you keep track on the separate field experience tracking form, so you can just keep a track of all the field experience hours to make sure you're just doing it all in one form yourself. So all those forms will be there for you.
Those forms are either located online and we could give you, where to access them, or they also sit outside my office, again, in the G building. My office is 222. If you're not familiar with the G building, eventually you will, but those forms are also sitting outside. So anytime that you go into a classroom, you're observing, the teacher you're observing needs to sign it, and then your professor does. So usually it's a class requirement for you to pass the class to have those field observations. So you need those in order to pass the class.
However, we do put them in all of our Blackboards, so you will have access to them too. But those are good backups just in case. So
great. And we do have COVID procedures in place. We don't know what to anticipate in the fall. So in the event that we have to do remote instruction or remote supervision, or your field experiences remote, we do have something in place, and your instructor will share that with you accordingly. So once you get started in the program, I am going to pre-entitle you. Ms. Johnson is going to guide you to completing your Ellis account. Either she will guide you or you will do that in one of your courses. All of you will create Ellis accounts. How many of you have an Ellis account now? Because you're a para or because you're a substitute teacher, and so you're familiar, but you all will need an ISB Ellis account. And it's easy for you to create. When you get have an Ellis account, you will be given an IEIN. That's your individual employee identification number. That number will stay with you as long as you're in Illinois. That's how you'll get paid. You know, they use that number for everything. And so that number will stay with you and not change. So as you take tests for licensure, and as you go through the program, you want to use your same name when you're taking tests. So if you use, MB Williams, if you decide to use M Williams, and then the next time use MV Williams, that will create two different accounts, which will get really messed up. I mean, it could mean that you won't get paid. It could mean that you won't get licensed because you're two different people. And as you do things, that information will go into two different accounts. So it's important that you use the same name each time you're doing anything related to ISB and taking the test. So very important. So once you start the program, and you have an Ellis account, I am going to pre-entitle you. And what you will see on your Ellis account is early childhood pre-entitlement for birth through grade 2. And you're also going to see a early childhood SPED approval. That's what you're being licensed in, early childhood birth through grade 2 and an early childhood SPED approval. We know that in addition to early childhood, there's also a shortage of SPED teachers. So this SPED approval is very, very important. Once you are finished with all of your courses, your student teaching, your performance portfolio, and your degree has posted to your transcript, that is when I will complete your entitlement. And I will send you a congratulatory email saying you are finished, you're entitled, and here are the instructions for you to apply and register your license. It'll be that quick and you'll be licensed. So I do have 2 licensure meetings a year. So at the beginning of your student teaching, I will invite you to a licensure meeting. And at the end of your student teaching, I will invite you to a licensure meeting, just so you know that licensure process, because you're not going to remember anything that I've said tonight about licensure. But if you have any questions, just know that I'm your licensure officer through the program. And even after you finish the program, you can always contact me about all things licensure. There's one person, who is that, who's adding early childhood to your license?
That would be me.
So Karen, you're taking the 18, 19 hours.
Oh, yeah. And somebody else just responded too.
Amy is.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Amy,
you guys need to email me so that I can pre-entitle you for that. Because technically, if you wanted to take a job in early childhood sooner versus later, you can, because I pre-entitled you, and you can actually I can actually get you a short-term approval if you were to get a job in early childhood before you finish the program. But okay, it's important that you get pre-entitled. Don't do your application through ISB, because that will take you about an extra 6 months to a year to get licensed. So I'll pre-entitle you, and when and I don't know if you're taking courses or you're doing it as a non-degree seeking student or as a certificate seeking student.
I'm thinking about doing the certificate.
Okay. So then I will know when you finish the program. For anyone that's non-degree seeking, I don't know when you're finished. So that's an email to me saying, hey, I'm finished. Can you process my subsequent endorsement? Okay, so Karen and Amy, send me an email so that I can get you pre-entitled since you're in the certificate program.
Okay, excellent. I will do it.
Any questions regarding licensure? Any questions regarding licensure? Great.
It's really important that those meetings about licensure that she was talking about at the beginning of the program, the end, they are really important because they do provide a lot of information about the process, and it'll be a little bit more clear for you. So just keep a lookout. I know as students and as faculty, we all get a lot of emails. So just make sure the ones, especially from Dr. Patterson or from me or from Andrea, please make sure, or even Carla, I guess just really pay attention to that information so you don't miss deadlines or meetings or anything like that. Because things could change.
Speaking of emails, you may have gotten a lot of correspondence from us while you were going through the acceptance process through your personal email address. Once you become a GSU student, we can no longer email you through your personal email address. So don't email us from your personal and don't expect us to email you through your personal. Okay, so always read your GSU emails.
Yeah, once you're a student. So if you already have your GSU email, we won't be able to use or reply to you anymore with your personal email. Myself, Carla, anybody. And also, we're going to get some more information. Dr. Patterson's going to find like some sheet or something about, we also want you to make sure that you, if you don't have a Gateways account, we want you to register for Gateways, and we'll have some information in a sheet, hopefully to send out to you about how to do that. And I'm pretty sure you definitely get the ECE credential, but we're going to find out about the levels. And I think the infant toddler as well. The director credential, like I said, we're still finding out about, but I think it's if you take this one extra course, you can get the director credential for Illinois Gateways, but they have different credentials, types of credentials, and then different levels. But we definitely want you also to apply for an Illinois Gateways account, just like the Ellis account with ISB.
Right. And that will make you eligible for a lot of the scholarships that we talked about. You must be registered through Gateways.
Yeah. So you're just adding a bunch of credentials and certificates, and that's what you want, right? That's what you want on your resume. So, and then obviously we'll throughout the program, we'll talk more about, because things will obviously change about like during student teaching about EdTPA and CPAST and things like that. So I don't think we need to worry about that at this time, but we do provide support with that. So don't worry about that. Okay, any other questions about that? Okay, good. Hopefully it's a little clear. So I added this about getting involved. I know everyone's working and everything, but there's lots of different ways you can get involved. I just provided some various pictures, but there's lots of, you'll get emails from me, from the Student Education Association, Kappa Delta Pi. We have lots of like professional development workshops, community service opportunities, and additional things, that you can add to your resume. Even like study abroad. I took a group to study abroad to Slovenia and China, and that's, there's lots of, and they offer scholarships and things like that. So, in addition to the academics, and I know you're working and you have personal lives and all that, but, this is a good time to also just, meet new people and, develop some leadership skills, and it's a great way to like network and, advance your career path. So, you can always contact me about this because I am the chair for this group, but we'll be actually sending out invitations to the Kappa Delta Pi, which is an honor society. And so if you meet the criteria for that, then you'll be invited to be inducted, and it's only once a year. And they offer also scholarships as well as the SEA, which is part of the Illinois Education Association and National Education Association. So both of those offer scholarships and different things like that. So it's another way that you can get things. And they also have like later on, if you're part of Kappa Delta Pi, they have like classroom grants when you're actually a teacher and things like that. So they offer a lot of things as well. Lots of resources. Even Kappa Delta Pi has this whole thing where it has actually lesson plan. It has a lesson plan community that you can look up online and be part of if you're an active member. So anyway. If you have any questions about getting involved, even if it's not these two groups, if there's other groups, on campus, I definitely have some resources that I can provide you with. So, but take advantage of your time when you're in school. So there's some support. Dr. Patterson is going to find some information for us about some support for like the Writing Center and like technology, Academic Resource Center. And then I actually had some of my students from the summer actually created a PowerPoint on tips on how to be successful in the program, with coursework, with advising or planning classes or registering, like everything. So it's a PowerPoint, and they all added to it. So I don't know, I think some of those tips that they provided were really, really helpful. So I'm going to actually send that as a PDF to you guys. So hopefully you can take a look at it, especially for those of you maybe coming back to school and are a little nervous. At least they're from tips from students who have actually been in the program for like 2 semesters. So I think that might be beneficial for you to look at. And so we'll be sending you some additional information. So I'll probably send you an email probably tomorrow or Friday that has a bunch of documents. So definitely save them all onto your computer and you can look at them later. This is also, we have our Blackboard for our early childhood program is actually similar in every class. So it's very consistent. You'll have the same resources, you'll have the same links, you'll have everything. And so we actually, our program put together a resource document. So it has all the links right there, even though you can easily go to the GSU site and also like look at them. But you might not know that some of these things are there. Lots of links, people to contact, things like that. So that will be posted in all of your courses. So you can download that document as well. Okay. And this is our contact information. If you have any questions, it has all the main faculty and our support. If you're still applying to GSU, or if you have questions about that, please, you can contact Mr. Vignon. He's very helpful, very nice. So that way we can get your application processed, especially if you're trying to start this fall. We can try to look through it. Jason, Carla, and I can try to look through it really quickly and see what we can do. So, okay, any questions for anyone?
I have a question. I was wondering, because I'm finishing my degree right now and it's all online. So I'm kind of behind in like the whole being in school process, but do we still use like physical books in school?
Every course is different, but so some have a textbook, some use articles and videos, so it depends on the course actually.
Yeah, and we use some resources, some online resources such as Atlas, which is through National Board Certification a lot. So yes, as Dr. Hisrich said, it depends on the course and the instructor.
Okay.
And I will say that they were talking about like scholarships and stuff. There are so many scholarships just for like even books and things out there. Like I had a student, I said, I noticed you had glasses. I said, I had a former student that said she got like $200 towards books or $500 just towards textbooks because she wore glasses. So you really have to, it takes time to look for these scholarships and stuff for money, but it's kind of worth it at the end. Even just like small things add up. So just keep that in mind. And there's, like Dr. Patterson said, there's a lot more grants, especially for early childhood through Gateways and INCRA and everything now, especially with the new law. So take that time to look for that money.
Yeah. And as we learn more about how the 200 million will be disseminated and how it will reach you, we will send you that information.
I had a question about the GPA that I graduated from GSU in 2020. And does that GPA continue on through grad school, or do we start fresh?
Carla, I believe we start fresh, correct? You should start fresh with a new GPA.
That is correct. If you haven't been in a master's degree program at GSU, your master's degree starts a new GPA. It's separate from your undergrad GPA.
Okay.
Any other questions? Great questions.
Go ahead and jump if you have a question. Jump right out. Anything? Anything? Dr. Kelly, you want to make one comment about what you like, what you think is great about this program? And Professor Peters will actually add to that as well.
Yeah, the students. It's always the students. I taught for a long time in public schools, and then coming here, it's always the students. Yeah, you guys make it, right? Like the classes are made by you. We design them, we put them together, but you've got to put it all in to make it a good experience. You know, we do the best that we can. So yeah, so we started this master's program just last spring, and it's been a learning process, but we're learning a lot. And so you'll get the benefits of all of these things that we've done since then, and we're excited to have you. Go ahead, Miss Peters-Dent.
Okay. This program is so fantastic. As Dr. Kelly said, we started last semester, and we're learning so much about students, about ourselves. I think the greatest thing is just where students start out and where they ultimately end up. So just to see the growth in students is what is so fantastic. So we're just excited to have this new cohort. Excited that you all wanted to come to GSU to continue your education. I got my master's from Governor State many years ago. So Dr. Kelly does this because I always say many years ago. But we're just very excited to have you, and I'm excited to see Sabrina is in this cohort. She was my star student over the summer. So we're just very excited and looking forward to this semester with you all.
And, you know, just keep in mind, like the courses are not offered obviously every semester. So if you do decide to, like, you know, you only take 1 or 2 here, just keep in mind, like, just kind of look at that and talk to Carla about your plan. You know, we want it to best fit you so that you are successful and you're not overwhelmed, but we also want you to finish more, you know, on the quicker side so that you can get that license. So, definitely just make that appointment with Carla so you can map out your plan, you know, and make the best plan for you. So. Okay. But it is a great program. We're very excited whether you're going to start, you know, in the actual program with our course, the early childhood courses, you know, this fall, or you're going to take some prereqs and start next fall. But we're very excited that you're here. And if you have any questions, please let us know. Did anyone else come up with anything? What about my one more question student? Anything? No, okay. Okay. Well, thanks, guys. I'll be sending a bunch of information for you, and I will try to post a link to this as well, so you can go back through this meeting and get the information again in case you missed something. All right. Well, we look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good
Bye.
Have a wonderful night.
Bye,
Thanks for coming.
Sabrina.
Bye, Dana. I'll miss you. Stop recording.